Just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday. This week's topic is going to be the appearance of strength, even when there's an absence of it. This is episode 134. Hey guys, welcome back. As always, appreciate you being here. This week, and I'll admit this one kind of got recorded a little bit late. Wasn't on purpose. It was just, kind of got to the end of the week and kind of, just had a lot going on, a lot of stuff happened. And you could say kind of, it was one of those, just didn't, I kind of struggled to get motivated. It happens, even when things are doing pretty good, there's still things that might like drag you down or whatever, stuff you might be struggling with. Just kind of the inspiration for this episode. So I know the last month or so I've been trying to do the episode recordings using my computer at home with my condenser mic. I haven't actually done. Actually, it's probably been longer than that, but I haven't actually done. Yeah, it's probably been 2 months actually. Let's see, January, February, so 3 months of doing the recordings with the mic, which I love. I mean, I really love recording with that because it's basically everything is really clear. You don't have to worry about it, kind of being like a little bit garbled or worry about the clarity because it's gonna be pretty good. The only downside to it is it's not a noise canceling microphone. So it's like if I'm recording and there's like noises in the background, you're gonna hear it. So I know on a couple of the recordings, when I listen to them back, because I'm actually, I listen to my own episode, after it post to make sure everything sounds good. I don't listen to it before it posts, but the only problem with that is listening to it after it goes live. I might, if I find something as I'm listening to it, then there's a mistake, like, whatever, did something that I gotta correct or something, Like I think at one point, I did one recording, one episode that somehow the background music got put on there twice. So literally at one point in the episode, as I'm listening to it, you start hearing almost like an echo, like and like as that's going on, then again it starts. I'm like, what the heck? Oh crap! So I end up basically when that happens, or thankfully I've been pretty good. I haven't had that happen for a while. But if I have a mistake like that happens, I don't catch it while I'm actually doing the edits and stuff, because you know, it happens. I'm not perfect, you know. Basically, I have to go back into the recording, and I have to figure out where the heck that mistake is, and figure out what the heck happened. And you know, I think in that case, when I had that echo or whatever, or basically the two versions of that background music playing simultaneously, like with a few second difference, so you can really tell that there was. So I had to basically go in there, and I think with that one, I think basically what I did is I deleted the full edit, and I basically redid everything. Like I still had the base recording, and I just put everything, you know, basically put things together again, and made sure that there was just one copy of the background music, you know, uploaded or whatever. So that way it wasn't, you know. And then of course once it updated on the podcast hosting and updated in like Spotify and iHeartRadio, I made sure to go in there and, you know, go ahead and listen to it again to make sure that it sounded good. Of course, it was like everything was the way it's supposed to be. It's like, okay, cool, awesome, you know. But hey, you know, that's the journey of a podcaster. You know, like you try to make sure everything's perfect before you post it, but sometimes shit happens. So yeah, the inspiration for tonight's topic, I had to actually, technically recording this late, but it'll still probably show up as, you know, it'll post showing a Tuesday at 5 p.m. time, even though technically I'll be uploading that after the fact, but I'm out here working, and was kind of going down the road after picking up in Nashville for Knoxville, and then picking up, getting, you know, set up at 2 empties, come back to Nashville, and I am on my way back, and I think actually it was a little bit before Cookville, and I started to, you know, it's one of those where, like, for whatever reason, even though I'm drinking water, you know, trying to hydrate, whatever, you know, sometimes when you feel hungry, even though you've eaten fairly recently. Apologies, got a little bit of itch in my throat here. But whenever you've eaten recently, like within the last couple hours, and all of a sudden, like, you're feeling like, oh my god, like I'm starving. It's like you might not be actually hungry, you might be actually thirsty, or you need to drink water or whatever. So the highway kind of came to a stop, you know, like both lanes. You figured 4 a.m. and the entire interstate was like crawling. I'm going, oh, someone screwed up. Like someone really screwed up, because you know, middle of the night, if the highway stops, usually in the middle of the night, there's usually nothing causing the highway to actually be dead stopped or crawl. Like usually it's middle of the day type stuff, but if you come to a stop at night on the interstate, then usually there's something big that happened. multiple car pile up, or, you know, but in tonight's case, apparently it was a truck fire. Like looked like a box truck. By the time we finally got past it, you know, they had a couple cop cars blocking it off, fire trucks blocking it off. They did have a tow truck parked in front, and it looked like the truck was no longer on fire, but it was pretty burnt out. Like it was like the trailer, you can see like the bottom third of the trailer, the top part was gone. The actual body of the truck itself was gone. Like you can just see the frame or whatever, and I'm like, well, crap. All right, you know. It's one of those. I wish I had a personal dash cam going, so I could be like, hey, check this out, guys. This is what I passed today. But you know, only dash cam in here is actually the actual camera that's installed in the truck. You know, it comes with the truck, you know, for FedEx or for the company I drive for and stuff. So I have no access to those videos. So, but for like half an hour while coming up on that truck fire. You know, man, I was getting hit with the hunger pains. You know, like I was like, oh man, I feel like really hungry. You know, and I'm tired of shit. You know, so like I was literally drinking my water, thinking like, oh, I'm probably just maybe just need to drink water. So I'm drinking water, and then but I'm still feeling, you know, even when you drink, like I guess that's how you know that you are actually hungry. If you feel hungry and you drink some water, thinking that maybe I'm actually thirsty, and I just, you know, and then you don't feel hungry anymore, then you are in fact, you know, you're actually thirsty, not hungry. But if you feel hungry and you drink, you know, you're drinking water, thinking that that'll help, and you know, you feel better with the water, but you still feel getting those hunger pains, you're still feeling hungry, still want to get something to eat, then you are probably actually hungry. It's kind of an easy way to tell, like, are you actually really hungry, or are you just, you know, need to drink something? So if you drink something and you still feel hungry, then you are in fact hungry. It's not actually your body telling you that you're dehydrated or whatnot. So. But while creeping and crawling up towards that truck fire, and not knowing what the heck was the cause of the traffic slowdown, I was kind of, you know, crawling, going like, oh man. And of course, feeling like because I'm drinking so much water, I was like, man, I really have to go to the bathroom, and I'm not quite all the way back to Nashville yet. So I was basically already figuring, you know, when I hit up this certain exit, there's a Love's there. You know, they have a 24-hour McDonald's in there. I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna go. You know, when I get up here, I'll pull off at that Love's, hit the bathroom, go grab like a biscuit, like a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit or something, and like an unsweet tea or whatever. You know, something to eat, but then still get the unsweet tea. Kind of try to keep it, you know, somewhat diabetic friendly. You know, I mean, yeah, there's some carbs in there, but you know, meals like that, I kind of, you know, I've actually Googled. Sometimes if I'm, you know, gonna grab, sometimes I'm hungry and I'm thinking like, hey, I want to grab such and such. I'll usually Google it and be like, how many carbs are in such and such, so that way I know, you know, kind of know what I'm kind of working with. So that way I know if what I'm looking at possibly getting to eat is like 120 grams or 120 carbs, I'm like, yeah, I better not, you know. But pretty sure a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit by itself, I think it's like 30 carbs or whatever. And I'm like, okay, like that's still keeping it within moderation or whatever. So, and then as long as I don't get something sweet, like a sweet tea or like a soda or something, if I get unsweet tea or water or whatever, then you know, little dietary advice for anybody out there if you're newly diabetic or whatever. It's like unsweet tea, you can pretty much drink as much as you want because you're not getting sugar, and it's better than water because, you know, it's actually got some flavor even though it's not sweet. Hey, you know, you can put you know, other sweeteners in it, the 0-calorie sweetener, to give it a little bit of sweetness without still not having the sugar. So, but anyway, so as we're creeping and crawling up towards this truck fire. And, you know, I thought, screw it, I'm gonna go ahead and put on Spotify, you know, put on some music, start singing along a little bit, try to, you know, so I wasn't necessarily like tired to the point where it goes not, but I was tired to where I was yawning. It didn't help that I was feeling hungry too, you know, so like probably needed something to like, little sustenance to get a little energy boost or whatever, you know. So I thought, well, you know, sometimes singing along to some songs out there, just rock it out. Sometimes will help me kind of wake up a little bit more too. But so I put on Spotify, I started singing along to some songs or whatever, and like, and some of them, it's like sometimes the song will really resonate with me and how I feel. And like recently, you know, and I thought about this too. Basically. The way I am is I will always bend over backwards for those that I care about. You know, like bend over backwards for my wife, my kids, my grandkid. I'll do anything. Like I'll spend my last dime to try to give them the things that they need, the things that they want, especially my wife. You know, I do everything I can to you know, to make her happy, because of course, like even And, you know, there's times where, I'm not gonna lie, there's times where, you know, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can probably kind of like resonate with me on this too, where you bend over backwards and you might, you know, spend a lot more on something or stuff in general for your better half to try to make him or her happy. And yet, you know, then it's like you might not feel like it's enough. Like, you might feel like, okay, I'm doing all this, but, you know, what's like, but like they're always asking for more, or, you know, like, but that's when it comes to, like, sometimes there's differences between, like, if you guys are familiar with, like, Dave Ramsey and stuff, he talks about, like, nerds and free spirits. Like, the financial nerds are the ones that, like, they're more focused on, like, hey, I want to save, you know, I don't want to be broke, I want to make this money, like, grow and last or whatever, and actually, like, build a future for, you know, like, have a future of financial freedom and financial freedom and financial independence. And then there's the free spirits that when they see money, like, hey, we have like a couple thousand in the account, cool, all right, you know, we need this, we need that, you know, got to do this, we got to do that, we're out of this, we got to get more of that, we got to take care of this for the pets, the house needs this, the cars need this, whatever. And then before you know it, like, literally you're just like you're broke in a matter of like a week or something. Like, might have a couple grand, might have a grand, whatever, but, you know, before you know it, you're like, that money's gone, and you're just basically like, well, I'm fully tapped, like, I'm broke, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm the kind of the nerd. That's kind of where I kind of identify as kind of like the financial nerd, because, like, I don't like being broke, and I'm actually, everything I do, this podcast included, especially with trying to eventually monetize it and stuff like that. And I got the book projects, you know, I got the online opportunities I'm working, I've got mostly passive stuff there. Everything I do is kind of is me working towards being able to be in a financially better place. You know, like, being able to and truckers out there, you guys could probably sympathize with me a little bit. I keep having, it's like this KLLM truck, same truck. I passed him like 4 times already. I passed him, they fly by me after a little while, and then I'm gaining on them again, so I pass them again. And I'm like, obviously we don't know what cruise control is. So it's like right now, you know, getting up to speed, all of a sudden they're like, their truck is you know, now it's matching my speed a little bit more, and I'm like, really, dude? Really? Like, so you can't go the speed when I'm behind you, but then I'm trying to pass you, and suddenly you're going the same speed I am. It's like, all right. So then I screw with him. You know, I get beside him, and then I go ahead and brake, and I get back behind him again. Kind of that, hey, you know, go the speed limit. Come on, dude. You know how fast speed limit is. You can do it. But so anyway, so kind of lost my train of thought here for a second. But so I'm kind of the financial nerd when it comes to like income coming in and stuff, which is kind of funny because, like, my mother-in-law, love her to death. Me and my wife, we don't have, like, we do have a joint account, and basically, like, then we each have our individual accounts. Like, you know, I have a couple different accounts, as well as, like, Cash App and Venmo and PayPal and, you know, and Chime and stuff like that, and, you know. And then my wife has, like, Cash App, Venmo, and a couple others. Whenever we coordinate together, like, certain bills, like rent, or, like, if we coordinate on her car payment, since my truck's paid off, and now it's just trying to, you know, make payments towards her car to work on paying that down. Then we usually either I'll move money to her via Venmo, and then she'll move it over to the bank, you know, the joint bank account that we have, to then get whatever bill paid, or I'll just try to get money over to the bank, and she'll get money over to the bank, and then we'll pay it out of the bank, you know, the main bank. But my mother-in-law has commented in the past that she believes that, well, 'cause she's up there. Not gonna say an age or whatever, because I'm just trying to be respectful. but she believes that we should, like, you guys should have joint accounts, like, because, like, she doesn't, like, obviously, like, Erin, my wife or whatever, doesn't know financially, like, where I'm at, like what I might have on my on my end, but of course it's the same going the other way around. Like, I don't know what she might have fun, money wise in her accounts. And so, but of course her mom's like, I think Chris is hiding money, blah blah blah. And my wife tells me that, I just laugh. I'm like, I wish I was hiding money. I was like, no, I'm like literally literally, like, everything that comes in, like, we're like, you and I are coordinating and getting the bills paid. Like, it's not like I have a surplus. I'm like, hey, I've got like 15 grand in the bank and I'm just sitting on, hiding, like, not telling you about whatever. It's like, nope, not doing that. I wish. But so without trying to get a little bit too off topic, basically the inspiration tonight was kind of thinking about how, like, a lot of times, especially when dealing with, like, fam at home or whatever, even when things are good, like, I'll still be, there's still little things that might be stressing me out. So, like, you might be worrying about how, like, what are we going to do in this situation? I wonder how we're going to take care of such and such. Just little stresses, like, all right, I'm happy about such and such, but I'm worried about this. Like, how are we going to take care of this in order to get to this such and such? That's actually a really good situation. But we have to go through this, we got to go through X, Y, and Z in order to get to the A, B, and C part that actually is already set up. It's already a really good situation. It's just a matter of, you have to take care of this other thing to make that thing possible, to actually get into that situation. So it's already set up. You just have to figure out this certain part in order to actually, or get through a certain thing to actually get over to the thing that you're actually looking forward to dealing with. So a lot of times when I'm dealing with my family, I'm the kind that, like I had a friend at one point that I told you guys about way back in the beginning. I think I referred to her as D. She was one of those, like, always negative, always complaining about stuff. This sucks, that sucks, everything sucks. Like, nothing good is ever gonna happen. Like, life is miserable, blah blah blah. But she didn't work. Like, she didn't work a job. She basically collected, like, I think a $1,500 government check that she got paid on the first, and she would not do anything else to try to bring in anything else. But she had Section 8, so of course she got she paid like $300 for like a 2-bedroom apartment. And she had that $1,500 check, and then she literally would burn through it in like 3 days. And then the rest of the month, basically, she was broke. Like, she didn't even have washer and dryer in her apartment. So, like, to do like loads of laundry for her and her kids, she literally would have to drag all her and her kids' stuff to an actual laundromat and do clothes that way. And so she was like, and we're talking, bought weed for her and her friends. Like, I guess, because she didn't drive, well, she drove, but she didn't have a car, so she would usually borrow her mom's car, and she would, of course, fill it up with gas for her and stuff like that. But be broke within like 5 days, and like the rest of the month she's going to like the food pantry and stuff. Which, I'm no shame on that. Like, it happens. I've gone to the food pantry when I've had to in the past too. But I was always asking her, like, hey, what, like, why don't you, like, try to do something like a side gig, like anything, like, just do something online to try to bring in, like, even if it's like something where you bring like 100 to $200 a week, and she's like, well, I don't, I can't work, I can't do anything extra because I have too much anxiety, and like if I make anything, then my government check is gonna get canceled or whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure you can make something, you know, and they're not gonna like end your check. There's a certain limit that you can make, but I'm pretty sure you can do something. But the argument with her, because again, like I'm one of those, like I always try to like try my best to be positive, and so like I do a lot of, even if I'm not feeling it, there's still I might do a lot of joking around, you know, trying to find the humor and stuff. So like laughing about something, you know, and try to poke, not really poke fun, but try to be a goof with the fam. So like my wife will make a comment or something, and I'll say something else, and she'll just roll her eyes like, yeah, okay, you know. Or I'll give my kids crap, and of course my my youngest kiddo, she'll just be like shake my head. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know. She was, yeah, Dad, what up, Dad? You're such, I was like, yeah, I know. But the funny thing is, like a lot of times when I'm doing that, even though maybe they think that I'm actually like, I'm just being a goof. It's like, man, Dad's always joking around. It's kind of the thing with Dee. She like one of the times when around the time that we had fallen out, like she basically like I was. I'm always, if somebody I consider a close friend is trying to be like, hey, like life sucks, this sucks, that sucks, everything sucks. I'm like, I'm trying to talk them up, like, hey, don't worry, like, no, like, just keep pushing forward, just keep trying, things are gonna get better, I promise, or to try to joke about something to try to make them laugh or whatever. And she like yelled at me. She's like, you're always making a joke out of everything. Like you're not serious. Like freaking blah blah blah. And I'm going like, holy crap. I was like, look, like I'm the way I am because I'd rather laugh than cry. And but you'd rather be like negative and stuff. Like you'd rather think that, oh man, life is horrible. Blah blah blah. And so we had to fall out because of that. It's like, I would, because like when you're negative, it's when you're negative, you kind of, it consumes you. And, maybe you don't, if you don't believe me, I mean, it's true. Like literally the more negative you talk to yourself or about yourself or about your life, like, go around complaining or whatever, it literally just like you start to feel, it makes you feel worse. Like you literally, like the way you feel, it starts to get worse and worse, and then before you know it, you're waking up and you're automatically get up out of bed and you just feel depressed because like you're already thinking that life sucks. You're thinking that like things are never gonna happen or whatever, that you're never gonna make it where you want to go, and that's why part of one of the sayings that I'm always saying for you guys, one of my signature sayings, I might say, is whether you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right. So if you tell yourself, I can't do it, like I can't accomplish that, I can't make this happen, I can't succeed at such and such. Like I will never own a business. Like I will never be financially free. I will never own a business. I will never, get out of my job. I'm always gonna have to work my butt off and struggle all the time. Okay, you're probably when we talk to ourselves in a certain way, we make that our reality. Reality. Like that's literally like we lay the cornerstone, we lay the pavement or whatever groundwork for how we talk to ourselves. Like the way our life is going to be is based a lot of times on the way that you talk to yourself, the way that you look at life, the way that you think about how things are gonna go or how things are currently going. And sometimes people that talk negatives, yeah, sometimes they'll have really good stuff happen and they'll actually be pleasantly surprised. But the majority of the time, from what any of the people that I've personally known, I think most of whom I'm no longer connected with, I'll stick around and I'll try for a while to actually like to be there for those friends or whatever. But inevitably, they've always come to a point where we come to blows because like they're, they're basically, oh man, things are really bad, things suck, things are never gonna get better, and I'm trying to talk them up, try to give them a little more inspiration, a little hope, or whatever. And basically tell them like, you don't tell yourself that, don't talk like that, like things are gonna get better. You just gotta like hang in there, like if whenever I get to a point where I can actually be in a position to actually offer some help, whether it's, hey, here's a couple $100 to help you out, which if you ask like certain friends of mine, like I've done that, it's like they've helped me out. I've randomly sent them, like money on PayPal or Chime or Venmo or whatever to be like, I know you're struggling, and they're like, oh, you didn't have to do that, man. And they're like, no, I just wanted to give you a boost to help you out. Like, hell, it might even only be like 30, like 20 bucks or something, because maybe one of their routines is, getting coffee or something, like walking down to the store to get coffee or whatever. And if I can give them like 10 or 20 bucks, so they're able to walk down and get a coffee and they feel better at the start of their day, hey, it's worth it to me, Now sometimes I'm not been in the, or there's been times where I haven't been financially able to do that, to send them anything or whatever. So I just basically try to be encouraging or whatever. Like, hey, I think, I'd send over such and such if I could to help you out. But yeah, I really appreciate you, bro. Like I know you would. So I really appreciate it. That's, we're real friends or whatever. I'm like, yeah. I was like, I'll do anything I can for you, But at home, to see the whole, like you're always laughing and joking and blah blah blah. Well, that's just how I am. Like, for instance, like my earlier, I guess technically yesterday, before I ended up, because we're like 5 a.m. right now, but last night before going to work, leaving to go to the truck, my wife, we're both giving each other a hug. She's like, "I love you, Goofy." And I was like, "Love you too." It's probably because of joking around with her or whatever, making little comments, to give her to poke at her a little bit, give her make her kind of like shake her head and laugh or whatever. But that's just how that's just how I am. Now that might give the false impression that things are really good with me, like that I'm not like struggling with anything, that I'm not stressed out or whatever, because financially we're in a position where we're actually not doing too bad. So financially I'm not really too stressed. I'm a little bit stressed about some upcoming things that we got to figure out that, I'm not looking forward to those, because it's a pretty stressful situation, and I'll tell you guys about it eventually, but right now I'm kind of keeping it on the down low. But it's easy for me to put on a smile and act like everything is great, that I'm great, that, that there's nothing wrong, while there might actually be things that are like in the background that, like health, like mental health in general, it's very easy, especially when dealing with like work stresses, or if you got random life stresses or whatever, things that you're worried about or whatever, and it just takes a toll on your mental health. So it's like you just basically struggle, and some people will they'll show that struggle publicly, like, oh my god, I'm struggling right here or whatever. Others, like myself, we a lot of times will just we'll put on the appearance like we're good, And so I was listening to, or singing along to one of these songs or whatever, and I guess actually one of my favorite songs is like, I guess that's why they call it The Blues by Elton John. And just, throwing myself all into that song, and of course, like, before I know it, I found myself, tearing up and kind of getting choked up a little bit, and thinking about, hey, I should, because I know when I do these Real Talk episodes, it's all things like it's things that I get inspired about, like topics that I'm inspired to talk about. I keep it real, no bullshit, whatever. Not gonna lie to you guys, and this is something that I think a lot of people can relate to, even if they like, let's say they have the appearance of all their friends and family that they're great, things are perfect or whatever. A lot of times with people in general, like especially when somebody, like, people lose a family or a friend, they realize afterwards that that friend or family, that they were having some personal struggles, that they were not doing as good as they appeared to. They tried to let on, that they were actually struggling a lot. Sometimes it's only a little bit, you know. They're like, oh man, they were having this such go on in their life. Other times it's, oh my god, like they were really struggling, like they were really depressed, you know, they were really having a hard time, and like nobody knew. It's like one of my favorite actors, you know, Robin Williams. It's like he, you know, unfortunately and very sadly took his own life, and it's like, you know, he was, I think even some of the videos are out there where he talks about how, like, or you see somebody post a video and they'll be like, the happiest people that appear the happiest are a lot of times are the ones that have the most crap that they're dealing with, and you know, that people don't know about. And so that's kind of what I was thinking about earlier when I was singing along to that song, and it's like kind of thinking to myself as I started to tear up and kind of choke up a little bit, thinking about how, like, yeah, you know, like I put on this act, I put on the, you know, I smile and laugh and whatever, and yet there's so much stuff that, and this is me kind of like trying to, you know, like, because I know there's probably a lot of people out there that could relate to this, where, you know, you put on a smile and you laugh and whatever and joke and try to basically just like, you know, with your friends and family, and you just basically try to like pass it off that things are great, you're happy, you're just like, oh man, like great life, whatever. But then like deep down you're dealing with like mental health issues, you're struggling a little bit, maybe dealing with some depression, maybe you can't, like, for me, there's like, I actually struggle a little bit, or quite a bit actually, with sleep, which is really kind of not very pleasant at all, especially because I have sleep apnea, so I'm already using a CPAP. And even with that, if I don't take, I have certain like sleep medications that I take, like Unisom, whatever. If I don't take those and I just try to go to sleep with my CPAP, I'll wake up, I'll get into a deep sleep, and I'll wake up every hour and a half. I'll go from like a deep sleep to awake. Like, I'll wake up enough to where I'm alert of my surroundings to then trying to go back to sleep. And if a mistake I make is if I wake up and I open my eyes and look around, then I struggle to get back to sleep. So if I realize that I have to mentally, I literally have to like be mentally aware enough when I wake up to force myself to not open my eyes and look around, but just literally wake up enough, keep my eyes closed, literally just roll over and attempt, like, just try to get comfortable in a different position and basically try to fall back to sleep without looking around at anything, you know? I'm always tempted to look at my watch to see what time it is, but then I literally am like kicking myself because I look at my watch and like, oh man, it's only been an hour and a half, what the heck? Because you'll wake up thinking that it's been, that you'll feel, because you come out of that deep sleep or you're dreaming about whatever, you'll feel like it's been hours, but you wake up, it's been like an hour and a half, you're like, oh man. So I have to take certain meds to literally do whatever I can to knock myself the hell out. And even then, even when I do that, there's a lot of times where I'll still wake up, especially lately. I've been having some sleeping struggles a little bit recently. But I'll take those meds and I'll still wake up and feel like, you know, like, oh man, I've been asleep for like 5 hours, and it's been like 2. So lately I'm like, I'm not gonna look at my watch, I'm not gonna look around the room, because a lot of times since I work late, by the time after a couple hours of being in bed, it's daylight out. Sometimes it's daylight when I get home, because it might be like 8, 9, 10, or 11 o'clock in the morning when I finally get to bed. So I struggle with that. Like, so I was thinking about that tonight, and it's just like, that I tell people that are close to me that I know that are struggling with stuff. You know, they might be like, oh man, so instead of trying to like, you know, hey man, don't, like, things aren't that bad, just, you know, because to them they feel like they're that bad, and hell, to me they feel like they're that bad sometimes. But so what I try to do now is that the people that are close to me, my inner circle, if they express that they're dealing with some stuff, that they're not feeling like things are that great, I simply try to express, like, hey man, you know, whatever you need, I'm here for you. If there's anything I can do, like, you're not alone. Kind of get choked up a little bit just thinking about it, because there's been times where, and I've even told my kids this, because I'm like, hey, like, I understand if you guys feel like you're dealing with a lot, but you know, you're trying to keep it in, like, you don't want people to know. I was like, I just want you to know that Mom and I are here. Like, if you ever just need a hug, if you ever need, you know, either a hug or you need to squeeze your shoulder, just tell you like, hey, you know, everything's gonna be okay. Just, you know, you got this. Just, you know, or even telling them you're not alone. Like, I'm here. Like, you have us here if you need us. And I've told my kids that there's been times. It's rough because of how, like, I'm one of those that put on a smile, and, you know, they're like, hey, everything's great, oh man, life's great, things are good. That's why I've had some issues with getting these episodes out sometimes on some weeks, because it might be on the night that I'm planning to record, and I'll be kind of dealing with that funk, that feeling down, got the depression going on, you know, worrying about whatever, feeling, you know, struggling with such or whatever. It might be weighing heavily on me to the point where I just don't feel like I can do much. So what I end up doing on those nights is I'll end up, instead of you know, hopping on the computer with the mic and working on getting that episode recorded, I'll be like, you know what, like, I'm struggling, I don't feel it right now, I'm gonna go ahead and, like, continue enjoying my drinks on my days off and throw on Netflix, basically just chill and relax, you know, just try to like let loose, relax, whatever. But then I kick myself because I'm like, I don't like not getting an episode done, because I'm trying to be consistent every week with you guys, but, you know, just being upfront and honest with you, weeks where, if you notice there's a Tuesday that all of a sudden there's not an episode, usually there's a good reason. Usually it's like, hey, I was struggling, and it just happens, you know. But then, like tonight, you know, when the episode should have technically already been posted yesterday, or last night technically, and again, it's gonna look weird because by the time you guys, you know, listen to this, it's gonna show that it posted Tuesday at 5:15 p.m. But it didn't. I'm just giving you guys a heads up right there. But when I post it, I'll put the date, the time, or whatever, and just basically just upload it. Versus like just upload it, it's Wednesday, you know. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's still posted. But be like nights like tonight where I'm singing along, rocking out to some songs, and the lyrics might touch me in a way, like affect me in a way where all of a sudden I find myself tearing up and struggling to keep my composure. I might even break down. You know, all of a sudden feel like tears streaming down my face, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? But, you know, that happens, and then of course, like tonight, that happened, and I'm thinking about how, like, you know, how people will put on a straight face. Like, a lot of times, and this is like kind of the point of this topic, is that a lot of times we don't know what's going on in other people's lives. Like, we might think that somebody, because someone talks a big game, like they talk like they're, oh man, like, oh, I do such, I do over here, I go over here, I do that, oh man, things are great. You know, they're all like, maybe they're always like, they're laughing, giving high fives, whatever. So you're thinking like, man, I wish I had like I wish it was like as happy as them. Because man, they got it. They're doing great, man. They got like they're happy in their life. Apparently everything's working out the way that you know. When the funny thing is, a lot of the time it's probably more common that those people that we think have all their shit together, that we think are doing great, that aren't struggling at all, because apparently like that's just how they, you know, they portray that image to everybody around them. A lot of times it's more common than not that those people are actually the ones that are struggling the most. Like they might be the ones that smile and laugh and make other people laugh because they, you know, they joke with other people, whatever. Like those people are the ones that are struggling the most, that have the things that are weighing heavily on them, that they're having trouble dealing with or whatever. But they don't want other people to know, you know, because it's like, you know, in my life at home, it's like I'm always trying to do anything and everything I can for my wife, my kids, my grandkids. Give them the things that they want, the things that, you know, they either they want or they need, and try to be there for them and try to make them happy. Because at least if I can help them, if I can give them something that they really want, you know, to give them what they need, basically, you know, maybe make them happy, then that'll help me, even though I'm still struggling with things I'm struggling with mentally. The worries I have, the stresses I have. Hell, right now, I would say that for me, it's a large part of, a lot of the struggles I have is basically the dreams that I have. You know, like the goals, the aspirations, whatever. Because I love what I do, don't get me wrong, I love being a trucker or whatever. But my goal, the things I'm working towards with the things that I do on the side that I don't, especially like the passive stuff that I either don't say much about online, but I might have the links actually posted in the episode notes for the different episodes, because I'll tell you guys about it. You know, if you guys want to check them out, great, you know. But otherwise, it's like, I don't worry about it too much. I'm just like, hey, I'm always following my own advice. Keep on pushing forward. I'm continuing believing. I'm, you know, gonna believe I can. Gonna believe I will. And I know that I'm already halfway there. And all I have to do is just keep going out there and keep doing what I'm doing. You know. And that's basically my advice to all of you too. Is like, even if life doesn't seem that great for you, even if you don't have, let's say you don't have much hope for the future. Let's say you don't have any hope for the future. As long as you don't just lay down and give up, you know, quit, and decide that, oh, it's no use, like, it's not ever gonna happen. I'm never gonna reach where I want to go. Because when you make that decision, then you have in fact failed. Like when you give up and walk away and decide that the life, like your struggles that you're dealing with right now in life, that's just how it's always going to be, that there's no change in it, then pretty much that's you know, you've kind of made that your reality. And so just always try to be making progress in any way, shape, or form, whether it's like, for instance, like I'm an aspiring author. Like I have like a novel that I've told you guys about that's like probably 2/3 of the way completed, and I have, even though it's been a while since we've done the Storytime Friday episodes, I have at least one completed, well, pretty much 99, 98, 95% completed volume that I'm going to publish. So volume 1 is pretty much almost ready to go. And I've got one of the stories for volume 2. And then I gotta, obviously, like, you know, there's other stories I have to, like, that have been told that I got, but they were the freestyle episodes where I didn't write the story out. I just kind of like hit record and I started telling the story. I gotta transcribe those into actual, like, get those written, and then add those to volume 2. So I think I have enough stories to technically have volume 2 as well. So I have volume 1 and volume 2. I just need to buckle down and, you know, get the finishing touches of volume 1, get the stories actually typed up in volume 2, and basically then work on, like, the cover, what the cover is going to look like for the Blogger Show short story volumes, and then publish them. And then I'll start like mentioning them here on the podcast. But I have like, I can't tell you the number of times that, or especially recently the last couple weeks, where I've literally brought my computer, like my wife will go to bed, late at night. She's like, well, I have to get up for work at like 5:30. So don't stay up too late. I have no promises. So she'll go to bed at like 10:30, 11 o'clock, 11:30, and I'll go up and I'll bring laundry down for the week, get ready to, so that I can get like I wash my clothes as well as wash like the FedEx stuff or whatever, so that way I can be ready to go for my 5-day, what I call my 5-day countdown, a 5-day work week, and I'll bring my computer down with the intent of the condenser mic. Either with the intention to do an episode, which is most of the time what I end up doing, especially if I can kind of, if I can make it so that I'm not like letting the other mental health stuff get me down too much, Because lately that's been the issue I struggle with. I'll bring the computer down, I'll have the mic, I'll be ready to record or whatever, but I'll be down and I'll just basically be like struggling to open the computer and do it. Or if I want to like bring the computer down with the intent to, hey, I want to work on trying to get the next story done, working on the novel to try to complete that, so I can actually have things completed, so I can be working on publishing stuff, because I know that'll be streams of income right there as well. I just have to do it, and I've been struggling with the motivation to be able to do that stuff. So I put that out there, telling you guys, like, hey, if you're struggling, there's things you want to do that you haven't been able to get yourself, like, you've been lacking the drive or the motivation to do it. You're not alone. Like all these episodes that you got, and for those of you who've been with me since the beginning, I really appreciate it. This is me trying to take my own advice. It's me trying to not let the struggles that we deal with every day or every week. We feel down. We feel like hopeless at times. This is me trying to show you that it is possible to push forward, even if you don't feel like it. You just got to do it. It's hard as hell sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not saying it's easy at all. It's not. We just have to do it. And sometimes even if you just have to do it, but you feel the struggle is too real. Like you just feel too much of like a weight on you, and you just can't bring yourself to do it. In my cases where I'm like, I can't bring myself to hit record and do the episode because it's like just the way I'm feeling or whatever, mentally, whatever. So I end up putting on Netflix to watch an episode or whatever, just kind of like unwind, relax, whatever. That's fine too. You gotta do whatever you can, whatever helps you in the current situation, whatever makes you feel better, even if it's short term. Like that's part of why I enjoy my adult beverages on my weekend, because even though I don't like to get like shit-faced drunk, but I do like to catch buzz. I do, having a few drinks, watching Netflix, watching a movie, whatever. It's like that's my way of kind of like trying to unwind, let loose, try to de-stress. Sometimes it helps a lot. Sometimes it only helps a little bit. And I go into the week basically just doing the best I can. So, but anyway, guys, I know I've talked your ear off for a while, but just know that, like, no matter what, no matter how you're feeling, no matter the struggles you're dealing with, no matter how hopeless you might feel, just know that you're not alone. Like, there's you got people out here that have your back, even if we don't know you personally. I mean, we got your back. That's why I've thrown out that the Blogger Show email address. In the past, when I'm talking about mental health, whatever, and I'd be like, hey, if you just need, like, if you want to vent, like you want to vent to somebody, or you just want to express things you're struggling with, even if I know there's not much I can do to try to help, but hey, I can be like a listening ear, so to speak. Like, drop me a line, bloggershowpodcast@gmail.com. But on that note, guys, you know what I always say. Keep pushing forward. Keep believing. believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there. And then you just have to go out there and do it. And as far as like to go with tonight's topic, it's okay. It's okay to be struggling. It's okay to not be where you want to be. It's not the end of the world. As long as you just keep dreaming, you know. Even if you don't know how you're ever gonna do it. Let's say you have doubts that you'll ever be able to pull it off. Keep making plans. Keep setting goals. Like, hey, I want to eventually have a $2 million house, or you know, I plan to eventually not have to work at all and just be home full time. Whatever. Hey, you know, whatever your dream is, keep that dream. Hold on to that dream. Hold on to that hope for that dream, even if at times it wavers. Even if at times you actually feel like you're just lying to yourself, because you know, I felt that way too, where I'm telling myself, oh man, this, like, I just don't know if this is ever gonna happen, but then I tell myself, like, I just have to keep, you know, I can't give up. Like, it may be 2 years till I own a house, it might be 10 years, it might be 5 years, it might be, you know, a year or two till I actually figure something out. Maybe financially I don't have to work anymore. It might be 10 years, it might be 15 years. Maybe I'll have to work until I'm 65 and just retire normally and basically just live off of Social Security. I don't know. But I hold on to those dreams I have, the goals that I have, the aspirations that I'm after, you know, because I refuse to let those fears, those doubts, and the doubts that this will be my, you know, my life. I'm not gonna let that be my main thought. I'm not gonna let that override everything else, like all my goals, my dreams, whatever. I'm gonna keep taking it week by week and keep making little strides toward in whatever way I can. Whether it's okay, I'm gonna invest this over here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna work on this story or this writing project, or maybe hell, lately I've told myself when I'm struggling to try to sit down and write, I'm like, maybe I should at least just sit down on my computer. Maybe I should do a blog entry, you know, something short, you know, basically just a quick blog entry, a couple paragraphs, whatever. Get some writing done, because I think the problem with me, especially with the fact that I'm a writer, but it's been a while since I've actually sat down and gotten a decent amount of writing done, then the longer it's been, the harder it's been for me to get back into it again. Like, I plan to do it. I'm definitely gonna complete those volumes. There's gonna be volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. There's gonna be, you know, every time as I continue working through those when we get back into those stories for Storytime Friday. Those stories are then gonna go in the future volumes. And so things are gonna happen. I know that I'm gonna get there. It's just a matter of, you know, not letting all the crap, all the BS I deal with currently, not letting that get me down permanently. You know, like, it can get me down for right now, but I think for me, what I keep telling myself is, all right, you know, just don't let it like permanently get you down. Don't let it keep you down. Because you can get down, but as long as you don't let it keep you down. You know, just like make a plan, try to, like, if something doesn't work, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and you try something else. Like, literally make, like, all right, I have, like, it's like when they say, like, plan A, plan B, plan C, you know, like I was joking with my bro Ricco when we were investing in this coin that we found or whatever, where it's like, I think I might have put like $40 or $50 into it total. I think it was $5 and $10, and then of course, like, you got a bonus, so they give you bonus coins every time you did a purchase. So you get your current coins that you bought, as well as like a really big bonus. So I think it was supposed to launch like 2 weeks back, and I think I had invested 40 or 50 at that point. But I think my balance, which is funny because I accidentally, I did something stupid. I went to set up two-factor with it, but I never got the code, and then I forgot to switch it off before I logged out. Next thing you know, I'm locked out of my account. Like, I can't log in. But thankfully, like, they never launched, you know, because I would have been like pissed off because be like, oh man, because I had 11 million of the coins, and they were supposedly supposed to launch at like a couple bucks. And I was like, you know, we knew that realistically it probably wasn't gonna happen, but me and Ricco, I was like, hey bro, let's stream a little bit. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, let's daydream a little bit. Like, if that coin, I was like, it's probably not gonna. I mean, I understand, you know, we're not like. He's like, yeah, probably not gonna, bro. Like, I was like, yeah, but let's say, let's you know, daydream a little bit. Like, let's say that coin does launch at the like estimated like $3, or I'm gonna round up, say $4 a coin, and you have 12 million coins. He didn't have as many as I had, because I actually had invested a little bit more into it. Like, I think he put like 15 to 20 in there, and I put like 50. You know, because I was trying to beef up my coin balance, because I thought, you know, like, if it does launch, I want to be in a position of power. Like, I want to be in a position where, if the coin actually did launch, you know, then I'd be in a really good spot. And especially, like, you know, we figure 40 or 50 bucks. Yeah, I know that's not a small chunk of change. But for me, I looked at it like, I'd rather. It's like the whole saying where I'd rather try and fail than not try at all. And so, not knowing if it was actually going to do what it was, you know, being advertised. And yeah, some people say, oh, those pre-launches, those scams. Not all of them. There's one called Bitcoin Black that a friend of mine connected me and my bro Ricco, and they were already like the 4th or 5th phase out of like 7 phases, I think. And so I put in like, I think I invested like $100, and because of the phase it was at, the coin wasn't quite as cheap. And so I think with like $100, I got like 200,000 coins, whereas like, you know, the coin that me and Ricco did recently that didn't launch, that one, you know, we did a small amount. We got like millions. We got like, for $10, I got like 2 million coins. But then they give you like a bonus, so I had like 4.5, 5 million coins after like investing like 10 to 20 bucks. And then I invested a couple more times just to kind of like beef it up. So I was like, hey, I want to, like, I'll do $15 here, $10 there, you know. It's worth a shot, you know. It's why same reason why people will actually buy lottery tickets, you know. Like, even though their odds of winning are not very good, if you don't buy a ticket, then you're guaranteed not to win if you don't buy it. Like, if you don't play, you don't win. If you play, you're probably not going to win, but hey, at least there's a chance, there's a possibility that you might be that winning ticket and win the $300 million or whatever. But yeah. So, but so try to get back on track because I lost my train of thought again. But so we invested in that coin, and of course, like, it never, you know, it didn't launch. And like me and Ricco, where I was like, when I was talking about, hey, let's stream a little bit, let's brainstorm whatever. He's like, what do you mean, bro? And I was like, well, okay, let's say that coin actually does launch, because this is like when it was like a few days out from when it was supposed to launch, because it was doing a countdown. It was like 3 days, like 10 days to launch, 9 days to launch, and we got to when it was like, I think it was like Thursday, and it said 3 days to launch. I was like, so Ricco was basically telling me, he's like, bro, like, on the day it's supposed to launch, like, I'm gonna stay up all night, man. I'm gonna wait until, because I want to be available. Like, if that coin actually launches, I want to be one of the first people to actually sell the coin. You know, because of having millions, whatever. If it launches at like $3 a coin, he's like, if I end up being an instant millionaire overnight, he goes, holy crap! Like, I would just. And I was like, what would you do? Like, if you all of a sudden had, you know, let's say we were able to sell the coin off. Like, what would you do? Like, would you still be online? He goes, nah, bro, I would do one more post on Facebook and that would disappear. And I said, yeah, I'm kind of thinking the same thing. I would still be available on like Messenger or whatever, but I don't think I would advertise that I came into money. I would just, you know, still be available like Messenger and text or whatever, but I probably wouldn't post anything on social media anymore. Buy our dream house, basically just like, you know, give the wife and the kids and the grandkids the dream life, but not advertise or anything about it, Because I joked with him. I said, bro, if it launches at $4 a coin, I said I have like 12 million coins. I said I'm gonna have like just under 50 million bucks. And I was like, I don't know if I would give. I said I don't know if I would give a 2-week notice of my job, or if I would just quit. And he was like, bro, like, if you had, like, if it literally launches at that amount, bro, he's like, with all the bullshit you deal with at your job, like, the running you until like noon from like, basically all night, all morning, and then you get home like noon, 1 o'clock or whatever, and they're still messaging you like mid-afternoon, like, hey, you want an extra run and want to come in tonight and run? And I'm like, I'm tired as fuck. I'm good. Like, I'm taking my day off. But he's like, bro, like, I wouldn't give notice. Like, I would just like literally just leave, bro. Just quit. Like, yeah. I was like, yeah, but I'd probably, because I do appreciate the guy that technically my boss, manager, or whatever. I appreciate the things he's done that kind of he does for us to try to keep us running. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's times where I don't know if what I'm being told is the truth, but it could be that there really is issues with FedEx. It could be things that he's just not being, that he's basically just BSing me or whatever. I don't know. I can't prove it either way, but I've been here with my current company that I'm employed with for at least a little I think it's been a little over 2 years now. So in general, not a bad job, and he's pretty easy to deal with and whatever. So I told Ricco, yeah, even with that, I'd probably still give notice. Give my 2 weeks or whatever, so that way on the off chance that in the future, if I ever wanted to come back and drive for FedEx again, that I could still do it because I left on good terms. He goes, I gotcha. That makes sense. Like, you have a good point, bro. I'm like, it's kind of what I want to. I mean, if I have 50 million bucks, I'm probably not gonna work for FedEx again. But I want to kind of like, just in case. So, but we were like, all right, so what would you do? And he was like, bro, like, I would totally like I would just I would disappear. Like, I would go buy get my house, like, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense, It's like, I was like, yeah, I'll go get my dream house. So I'm not gonna get a dream car, like, Lamborghini or Ferrari or anything. I said, I don't need a fancy car. I said, I don't even really need a mansion either, Like, I would want to have a really good house, like maybe one that's a little bit bigger than what we need, but not like super, like, 25 bedrooms or whatever. Like, if I could, our goal house is like 4 bedrooms, so like we could get a house that had like 6 or 7 bedrooms, like four bathrooms, acreage, so that the wife could have like a chicken coop because she wants to have chickens. Maybe have some livestock, but otherwise at least have like produce, like a really, really big ass garden and some chickens and stuff like that, and plenty of room for the fam. The wife, actually, her dream is to have what she calls a mother-in-law suite, where it's like a little additional building on the property where like either one of the kids, like the oldest, could live in that little house or whatever with her kiddo, and that way still technically be living at home but have her own place, kind of. Or it could be for like people to visit, basically stay in this little house on the same property or whatever, But so that's what Ricco and I were just like, just going back and forth or whatever. As I was like, you know what, like I'd be traveling a lot, I'd be going to visit family or whatever, because I know my parents are getting up there in age, my dad has some health stuff, so it's like, I want to be in a position where I can just up and go, and just travel out to where they live, and go see them for a week or two, whatever, And so, there's things that we're working on that hopefully that'll be a little easier to do in the near future, since right now I'm like 800 miles away from them. So it's a little bit of a drive, but I'm not, like, even though, don't get me wrong, it's like I have a love-hate with flying. Like, I love to fly, but I don't like to fly. Like if I love to fly, but I think if I flew, I'd love to get like first class or have like plenty of plenty of room. I'm not cramped in there with a bunch of people with like shoulder to shoulder with a lot of people, whatever. So usually when I travel, especially if it's between like driving or flying in it, like feeling like you're in a can of sardines or whatever, I would rather drive, So when me and my kiddo went out to Oklahoma to go pick up a car from, I could have flown out that way, but we drove my Ram, rented a U-Haul trailer for a car to tow a car, because it was like initially it was like fly out. The idea was to fly out there, drive the car back, but being that it's like a 92 or 94, I forget what year it is, but it's like, I think it's 94. It's like literally, it might be 95, but it's literally 30 years old, but only has like 170,000 miles on it. So that's great for the fact that it's like, how old it is or whatever, but it was well taken care of, whatever. So it's actually gonna be my youngest kiddo's car, but ended up, instead of flying out there and trying to drive back, not knowing how well the car was going to do on an 800-mile trip, I thought, well, I'll just rent a trailer and we'll tow the trailer behind my truck, because it was cheaper to just tow the trailer from here in Tennessee out that way, pick the car up, tow the car back, and then drop the trailer off at the same place, because it was like a hell of a lot cheaper than renting a trailer in Oklahoma and bringing it back here and dropping it off at a different place. Like, they charge you more for it if you're dropping it off somewhere else other than where you picked it up at. So, but anyway, kind of got a little sidetracked there, so I apologize. But anyway, guys, on that note, I'll go ahead and leave you with that. But just do the best you can. Keep making plans. Keep trying to make something happen. Just as long as you don't quit, you haven't failed. You might feel like a failure. You might be working at something for 10 years and still not there. Be like, man, I've been working on this for this long, and I don't know if it's ever gonna happen. Well, as long as you don't quit, you haven't failed at it. Because if you keep at it, even if it's like 10 or 15 years, and then finally you accomplish what you're after, then. But anyway, on that note, sorry, I gotta. My wife calling or whatever, so it's like, oh crap. But I'll call her back in a minute, because I'm literally getting back here to the hub. But on that note, hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Keep doing what you're doing, keep pushing forward, keep believing. Believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there, and then you just have to go out there and do it. Just like I always say, guys. But I appreciate you as always, and I will talk to you next time. Have a good one.